Hi, I'm Tiffany, PD Specialist at Advent Tech, and if you use interactive flat panels in your classroom, this video is for you. I teach teachers how to maximize the use of the OneScreen panels in their classrooms through online and in-person trainings, and something that I keep coming across is some teachers didn't know that they could actually split their screen and use two applications at the same time on one screen. So I thought we've got to do a video about that because it's such a great tool to be able to use in your classroom teaching. But the first thing you're going to want to do is sign in using your beacon card. And if you don't know how to bind your beacon card to your account, make sure you watch our YouTube video about that. But the reason why we want to sign in using our beacon card is because today I want to access my Google Slides, my Google Classroom, my YouTube videos, and I want to make sure I've got access to my account. And the easiest way to do that, hold it on the beacon icon at the bottom. And now I have access to all of my account, no matter which board I'm using. If you're a floating teacher or a sub, or maybe multiple teachers use the same board in the same classroom, make sure you have a beacon card. There are lots of reasons why it's helpful to be able to split your screen while using your interactive flat panel. So I'll give 3 examples and show you 2 different ways to split your screen easily. So in the first example, imagine I'm using my Google slideshow and I'm pulling up my lesson about the modern era. By the way, I pulled this lesson from Lesson AI, which is a piece of software created by OneScreen that's free and has an entire repository of lessons that you can choose from, or you can really easily create a lesson within a minute or 2 using AI technology. So it's a really great resource. Make sure to check it out at lessn.ai and watch our YouTube video with more information about lesson. So I pulled up this slide about the introduction of the modern era, the timeline of the 1980s, and we're talking about the Challenger disaster. Notice I used my pen and the annotate function to be able to write on my slide. And I want to show my class a video about the Challenger disaster while keeping this slide up on the board because they're taking notes. So here's how I do that. I go to YouTube, and because YouTube is in my favorites tray down here at the bottom, it's really easy to split your screen with something that's on your favorites tray. All you do is click and hold the icon and slide up to the side of the screen where I want the YouTube video to be on. And now I've pulled up the video that I wanted my class to see, and they're still able to see my slide. I can adjust the real estate here if I want the video to be smaller or bigger. And don't forget, you can always annotate over the video, which is a really cool feature. So that's one example of when you might want to split your screen using 2 different apps. Here's a second example. I used to do this a lot when I was a teacher, is I wanted to maximize classroom engagement while watching a YouTube video. I didn't want students to tune it out. So I would write notes on the whiteboard with questions that I wanted my students to answer as they were watching the video. So if I want to use my OneScreen as my whiteboard while also playing the YouTube video, it's really easy. Because the whiteboard app called Write is within my favorites tray, again, all I do is I click and hold and slide up. And now I have access to my whiteboard and the questions that I want to ask my students, and that will be on here as we're watching the YouTube video. My next example is, what do you do when you want to split your screen with an app that isn't in your favorites tray down here at the bottom? Before you start your lesson, make sure you've already pulled up the app that you're going to want to split your screen with. So in this case, I want to split my screen with the Whiteboard app and also my Google slideshow about the Challenger disaster. So before I begin my lesson, I've pulled up my slideshow, and that's important, and I'll tell you why in just a second. So if I'm taking notes and now I want to pull up my slideshow, my Google slideshow, just make sure that if you don't see your navigation buttons at the bottom, just pull up from the bottom and they'll show up here. But you click on your Recents button, which is the circle with the square inside. And here you'll see the option to split the screen is available. So click Split. And now it's going to bring up all of the apps that you've recently viewed, including my slideshow about the Challenger disaster. So I'll click that. and all of a sudden my Google Slides and my whiteboard are split. Again, you can adjust the real estate if you want this to be bigger or this to be smaller. And to get out of it, just slide all the way over. So it's just that easy. If you're a classroom teacher and you feel like you could use a little bit more help understanding all the ins and outs of your interactive flat panel, come to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of videos about panels like this and others, and a lot of other information about classroom technology. And don't forget, we also provide services in person and online to help you with professional development. Thanks for watching our video. Have a great day.